Chris, that woke skater. Tim Pool is not really driving a pro-Russian narrative, so what's the big deal? I hate him with a passion, but Israel has bought the president. Is he running a pro-Russia platform? As far as I can tell, Russia has the right to protect their border from NATO-backed fascist Ukrainian forces. Well, first off, I mean, have you been listening to the program today? We said, like, I don't care about Russia's influence. It is indicative of Tim Pool. It's such a bizarre response.
I think any country has the right to understand dark money networks that are influencing the goddamn media, and I don't think portraying Russia as some sort of anti-colonial is ridiculous. No, dark money networks should be outed, and the people who engage in that stuff and take that money should be shamed.
I'm sorry, but can we just dispel this really quickly, like immediately with just this clip? We're saying he's not done a pro-Russian narrative. This was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's also bullshit.
Here you go. Immediate dispelling of exactly what you just said.
Russia is not going to tolerate its city being evacuated. How long until Russia says 100 kilotons? We'll keep it small. End Kiev. That ends the war overnight. I don't know that we'll see that we see that right away. I think what we see first is likely going to be low-yield nuclear artillery, flattening the eastern region of Ukraine.
Pause it for 1 second. Is there anybody who just heard that sentence or two that thought that Tim Pool sat down and wrote this beforehand? Like, where is he getting this information about the low yield, the tactical play that we can anticipate from Russia in terms of low yield nukes? I'm sorry. I've had conversations with Tim Pool. He may be a good businessman, and he may be able to negotiate hundreds of thousands of dollars for a video. But I'm sorry. He's getting this from somebody. Now, maybe he's reading it off of like some website, but...
Yeah, some moron.
This is not... Tim's not been... last night I was having sushi with the boys, and it occurs to me like, how long is Russia going to handle this? They're not going to deal with this. Now, I'm not saying they're going to level Kiev first. They're going to obviously do low impact tactical nukes. And that's when they're going to drop it. All right, continue.
Does the IMR think that'd be fine if it was Israeli money? Anyway.
No, absurd.
Nuclear artillery, flattening the eastern region of Ukraine, just wiping out some key areas. If Russia uses any kind of actual higher yield nuclear weapon, then it's World War III and they know it. But I don't know that it matters anymore. This is psychotic. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war.
Pause it for 1 second.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know.
Funded by the Democrats. That is definitely true, but also funded by the Republicans. Well, let's be clear. This legislation couldn't have passed without Republican votes.
But let's focus on funding.
Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine. They are expanding this war. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you've got criminal elements of the U.S. government pushing them and guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. Triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat.
I mean, that's true.
Would you? Yes, and and they have a story as to it was rogue, whatever. But let's just assume we're not going to even believe that. But Bradley, could you Google the blowing up of Nord Stream and tell me when that was?
And Putin's like, oh, we got to get in there before they blow up more of their stuff. Like, what's that?
And then also Google the invasion of Ukraine. I think he might have the sequencing wrong on that.
Nord Stream pipeline sabotage was September of 2022, and the conflict started in February. So that was, 7 months after the conflict started.
Interesting. Okay. That's just an interesting way of sequencing things.
Like a wrong way, you mean?
Yeah, go back just a little bit. It's funny. This guy really good on tactical nuclear strategies and whatnot, but not so good on the calendar. Go ahead.
And guiding them and telling them what to do. Ukraine is now accused, a German warrant issued for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, triggering this conflict. Ukraine is the greatest threat to this nation and to the world.
Reverse triggeration.
We should rescind all funding and financing, pull out all military support.
Hell yeah.
And we should apologize to Russia.
That's really it. But I just, come on, guys. He's not. What would what did the IM say? That he's not pro-Russia? That was 2 weeks ago. I also we need to. The United. I'm not saying things that are on behalf of the Russian government's interests, but the United States should cease all funding for Ukraine right now and when they're in a war with Ukraine. And also, if they don't do it, it's going to be World War III, and they're going to just bomb Kiev. Just trust me on this. Trust me that the implications of continuing this war are just as I say. And I don't have any ulterior motive as to encouraging the United States government to stop arming Ukraine. Silly.
Edward Gregorian writes in, Sammy, baby, it's me, Eddie. I like what you did there, getting them off your tail. Also, I'm having some trouble sending your payment this week. Give me a call when you have a chance. And then it's something in Russian that I can't, I don't know how to pronounce. It's like literally written in Russia. MJS617, Sam, you can see him constantly looking down, reading copy during his Ukraine is the enemy rant. He absolutely being told what to say. His fake indignation gives it all away. I wonder why there's so many lawsuits that he's involved with. You know, he may be he's getting a little edgy. But I'll tell you right now, if I don't get 100,000 per video with all the frickin' Matt porn, all sorts of chicken fat down the sink and
pouring. I thought you said porn.
So did I.
Matt pouring and all his chicken fat porn that he's sticking down the.
I was like, what are you accusing Matt of?
Hack all things. Tim Pool and Dave Rubin are innocent. There is no pro-Russia agenda. This I am brought to you by the Edward Gregorian Fund. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.